Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by the incomparable Dr. John Deloney. Doctor!
I think there's many more comparable. I think we're
the
good.
Infamous Dr. John Deloney. How about that?
That feels good, man. I like it.
Love it.
I'll take it.
All right, guys, we're hanging out, talking about, again, your life, your money. Give us a call. The number's 888-825-5225. We'll talk about whatever it is that's going on in your life. All right, let's go to Marisol in Chicago, Illinois. What's going on, Marisol?
Hi, thank you for having me on. So with all this commotion going on with student loans, as we know, the interest rates will start to hit in September.
That's right.
I have $70,000 in loans. I have in my savings account just enough to almost pay them all off.
Ooh.
And the problem is that I'm one of those that have been in school for long enough to probably be a surgeon, and I'm almost done. I'll be done next fall, thank God. But I'm paying it cash.
Good
this
for
time,
you.
So I did not get any more loans. My only thing is that about $45,000 of the loans I have to pay off is unsubsidized.
Okay.
And those rates are quite high, and they're fixed.
Yeah.
They're majority are about 6%. And although I have the money in my savings, should I just pay it all off and start over? I just feel like I'm going to be broke.
Let's walk through this because it may be as drastic as that, or it may not. Let's make sure we've got some other things in place before we just jump to taking all the cash.
As you walk her through this, can I say one thing real quick, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Jade? I can't help myself but comment on this. The way you just described that is indicative of how the entire country is dealing with this issue. And is it okay if I just call you out and we're friends? We'll still be best friends after this?
Yes, go ahead.
The way you described it, if I pay all this off, I'm going to feel like I'm broke.
I know, right?
I want you to know you're broke.
Right now you're broke.
Right now you're broke. It feels good, but you owe $70,000.
Yeah.
Okay? So I don't want you to feel like it's going to feel a different kind of broke. I get that. But I don't want you to pretend in your mind or do some mental gymnastics that like, I'm all good here, but if I do this and I take care of the thing that I said I was going to take care of, that suddenly I'm going to be in a worse financial position. You're in a scary position right now as is. Okay, I'll turn over to Jade.
John, such a good point that you just made. And Marisol, we're not picking on you, girl. We're talking about the whole world. This is basic math. If you have $70,000 minus $70,000 in debt, you have $0. You're broke. So even if you feel like you have money because you got savings, you're still broke if you have the debt. So basic math session over. Marisol, back to you. Let's go back and see foundationally if we're in a good position to actually pay off these loans. So my first question to you is, do you have any other debt besides the student loans?
No, I don't.
Very, very good. My second question to you is regarding your savings. This $70,000, is this all the money in the world that you have?
This is all I have liquid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the money that's non-liquid, how is that invested? Is it stocks?
I have money, stocks and 401k.
Okay. How much do you have in the single stocks?
Not much, maybe 5,000. So not much there.
5,000. Well, it's significant when we're talking about student loans and savings. Okay. So here's where I'm at with you. The way we teach, and you sound like you're kind of familiar with this, we would pay off all of our debt in baby step 2 using the debt snowball, which for you is your student loans. And then quickly after that, we would want to get 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. And that's kind of, I want you to know that that's what we're shooting towards if we take this money to pay off your debt. Okay. And in this case, I truly believe that you need to pay off this debt. I think that you are going to experience a freedom that you've never felt before. I think you're going to want to rip your shirt off and run through a countryside because that's how good it's going to feel to be debt free. And then you've got this 5K in stocks. You could keep it in there, or you could liquidate it and put that into your, start building up your 3 to 6 months fund again. And before you know it, you're not going to have any payments, no debt. Before you know it, you're going to have this 3 to 6 months built up again. And this time the math will actually math for you and you'll actually have money. How does that sound?
Logical and scary.
Yes. And that is correct. That is the correct answer. John, talk to the scary part.
I mean, it's scary. You're going to find you have this artificial cushion that you rest your head on every night, which is cash in the bank. And you pretend I don't have this humongous hole right outside my back door, which is $70,000 of student loan debt. And also, I just want to speak to something that Jay just said. I heard it once at a live event, a speaker. We go to live events all the time. And I heard a speaker say something that it's rare that I walk away and a sentence that is uttered just lodges itself in my soul, almost tattooed itself on my chest. And here was the sentence: whatever responsibilities you outsource at some point will be used against you. If you outsource, I'm just never going to worry. I'm just going to have Instacart bring my food. I'm just going to have Instacart bring my food. I'm going to have Instacart bring my food. And you don't know where your food comes from. Ooh. At some point, COVID happens and the grocery stores stop and everybody goes, whoa, what do we do now? Right? In this case, I can promise you, it's human nature, it's human history, all of it. The government will not wipe away. Let's say they figure out how to do some gymnastics and they knock these loans away and some other loans away. They will come back to you with their hand out and say, we want ours now. Mm-hmm. Whether that's in taking power from you, taking autonomy from you, demanding votes back, demanding higher taxes back. This whole idea that they've got to come rescue us is not a rescue. It's an ROI investment on their part because they're going to come back for their piece of flesh. And I want no part of it. And again, I had 6 figures in loans. Jade had 6 figures in loans. I promise you, I did not know what I was signing. And I signed my name on the piece of paper that said, if you help me go to college, I'll pay you back. And it was a matter of selling my house and moving into a residence hall. It was a matter of integrity for me and my wife that said, we said we would pay this back. Even though we were children and we didn't know what we were doing, we're going to pay this back. And so there's an integrity part to this. And let's say you pay this all off and next weekend, all the loans in America go away. I still think you did the right thing, and I still think you're going to walk 2 inches taller. You're not going to have $70,000 in the bank, that's for sure. No question about that. Yeah. Will you be scared? Absolutely, yes. But you're going to be able to breathe. You're going to always be able to know I did the right thing. And when someone says, the next time the government says, you can't, you'll be able to go, yeah, I can.
Come on,
yes,
John.
I can. I can, because I did already.
That's what I'm talking about. Go out, Marisol, pay off these loans and breathe in that good air, that free air. That's what I'm talking about. I love seeing people make the choice to get free. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
what's going on, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw, joined by John Deloney. And this show is all about you guys. It's all about what you're facing on a day-to-day basis when it comes to your money, when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to your career. And that's what we're discussing on the show. It's a call-in show. Call in. The number is 888-825-5225. And we'll chop it up with you. We'll help you sort it out and figure out what's the next best step for you. And that being said, we've got, a lot going on in the news right now, John, with student loans and everything going on like that. And today, as of hours ago, Biden came through and issued yet another
executive order of some sort.
Yeah.
Ish.
Executive order of sorts. Yes. Issuing yet more forgiveness for borrowers, which in the past we've been seeing these trickle through, things for disabled folks, vets, people who their school went out of business. And, I'm definitely not mad at that. The one that came through today, $39 billion of forgiveness for around 804,000 borrowers. And so, of course, everybody's like, Jade, what does this mean? Is this for everybody? Is this for me? What does this mean? And I'm like, well, if you really look at it, this is for folks, John, who signed up for these income-driven repayment plans. You might see it labeled as IDR, and you're like, what the heck is an IDR plan? Income-driven repayment plans. And these are people, John, who have been paying their student loans for the past 25 years. Because they were told, if you make this payment for 20 years and you make X amount of qualifying payments, at the end of the road, you'll have forgiveness. 25 years, John.
Wow.
You'll have forgiveness. And then you get there. You're sweaty. You're tired. Your body's aching. Your back is broken. And there was nothing there.
They say, nah, we changed our mind.
And now finally, these folks are getting their money. So, hey, it's a good day for our parents, right? If they have student loans.
For real.
But here's where I'm at. And here's for me where I think it's just painful. These plans that are for these folks 25 years in, they're like, finally, I'm getting my money. These are the same plans, John, that they want borrowers today to get into. Because student loan payments are coming up. You're going to have to start making your payments in October, right? Hey, we don't want you guys to have to pay too much. We don't want you uncomfortable. So why don't you jump into one of these income-driven repayment plans? The new one, I believe, is called the SAVE plan. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. They're always changing the acronyms on this. But the idea is, hey, you can jump on the site. You're automatically enrolled when payments come back. And you can just jump on the site and go ahead and you can go ahead and submit your own estimate of your income. And we're not going to require any qualifying documents to see if it's right.
So people are just going to make up a number. I make 30 grand and I can pay $15.
Come on.
And that'll be good.
And just kick that can down the road for 20, 25, 30 years. And at the end, there'll be a little buckle of gold at that rainbow.
Except that in 24 years, we're going to have gone through, 6 presidential transitions?
Come on.
12 Senate transitions. Who knows, man? And with the data coming out yesterday, there was folks are beginning to talk more and more about the mental health aspect of owing people money.
Yes.
And it is sleep inhibitory. It messes up your sleep. It messes up your relationships. It makes you not want to live. Makes you not want to be married.
Wow.
It makes all these issues. And so what we're saying is, I want you to be unwell for 20 years. Go to the college of your choice and that you feel most passionate about, and study what you want to study, and just give us a little bit every month. Choose to be miserable.
Yeah.
And not be fully present because you have this hovering over your head, this black cloud, as the article said, hovering over your head. And then in 20, 25 years, if you're lucky, we'll take it from you.
Yeah, I mean, John, you painted a beautiful picture in an earlier segment. There was a caller who had a certain number of student loans. She had $70,000 of student loan debt, and she had $70,000 of savings. And she was feeling some type of way about using the savings to pay off the debt.
Her exact words were, if I pay this off, I'm going to feel like I'm broke.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are broke.
You are broke.
You are broke.
And like the picture that you painted, I thought was brilliant. And I kind of wanted to elaborate that. It really is. When you have the money sitting there to pay these loans, guys, and you're not paying them, it is like you live in this beautiful home, right? And it's everything you want. It's modern. It's got all the right surfaces. You know what I'm saying? It's got the marble countertops, but outside, right outside your home is a black hole, giant black hole, desolation, destruction, and you just ignore it every day. You have to stay in the house.
You got to stay in the house. You can't go anywhere.
You can't go outside but your brain knows it's there.
Your reality, your brain knows the reality, right? That you owe the government this much money.
And for me, guys, and I know you guys are like, Jade, wow, you don't have to yell about it, Jade, or you're doing the most, Jade. And it's for you. The reason I get mad about this is I care about you. I want the best for you. I know how that feels. I know how it feels to not be able to sleep at night. I know how it feels to have that effect on your marriage, the way you work. All the decisions that you make are so that you can pay bills. That's a load of crap, man. That's for the birds. And I don't want that for you. The way I feel about this is there are so many things that want you to think that has the power, but that's not true. You have the power. But some of you guys are so, I can't say that on the radio. Some of you guys are so intent on being right instead of being happy. You'd rather be right that the government owes me this and they're the ones that'll take care of this mess and they need to figure it out. But I'm trying to give you the answer that's going to make you happy and give you peace and give you freedom. And that's you taking back your power, you taking back your autonomy, right? You being able to just financially self-regulate on your own instead of depending on the government, instead of depending on credit cards, instead of depending on all those other external factors to do what you can do for yourself. And if you don't get nothing else from this, understand, I want you to be free. I know you can be free, and I know you have inside of yourself the power to be free, period.
Period. Preach, man.
End of sentence.
It hit me last night. I had just gotten home from a long walk by myself, and it hit me. Every single thing in the ecosystem that young people and young adults are growing up in right now, and quite honestly, older adults too, is that you can't.
Yes.
You're too, you've got some kind of mental health, something or other, so you're never going to be able to have a normal relationship, a normal job, a normal whatever.
Yeah.
You've got some sort of disability, you're never going to be enough. You owe people money and you are too unable. You will never be able to pay this up because you're weak and you're not strong enough. You don't worry, we got you.
We got you.
And slowly but surely, our ability, our responsibility, our belief in ourselves and confidence, which doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing, all that erodes because we begin to outsource every little bit to the government, to this other person, to the bank, to the local person saying, oh, you can't do that either. Let me just pat you on the head. I'll take care of it for you.
Yep.
And we are giving away our souls. And it was this moment of, I can't be more proud to be a part of a team that just looks at everybody, whether you're a multimillionaire or whether you are a single mom with 2 kids trying to figure out how to breathe, that we look you in the eye and we treat you with enough dignity and respect to look you in the eye and say, you can too.
I know that's right.
And that voice has just been stolen from us.
It has, to the point to where people, John, they get a little bit angry.
They get super angry.
They get offended almost that we would imply that they can do it on their own.
That's right.
It's become almost an insult.
100. You should read the comments on my. It is. It's not almost. It is a sense of disempowerment. You can't. You never will be able to.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to come bail you out. I'm still haunted by what the great Mike Rose said a couple years ago during COVID, when he said the great tragedy of COVID was we told 300 million Americans, hey, just go home. You're not essential. We don't need you. We'll just mail checks.
Man.
And we got to see in a psychological experiment what happens when you have no purpose and you just go home and they just mail checks. We all went crazy.
That's right, we
It's
did.
not the way to health, and it's not the way to wealth.
Hear the message. You are essential in the quest to freedom. You're the secret sauce. You can do it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
All right, you're listening to The Ramsey Show. We're back again, taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Let's go straight to the phone lines. We got Ed from NYC, New York City. What's going on, Ed?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling. How can we help?
Yeah, so I just graduated with a master's. I decided to take my first job near home to move in with my parents and save money, but the commute is pretty tough. I don't have much time outside of work and commuting. I don't really want to rent out there. It's pretty expensive, and I kind of feel like renting's a waste of money. I'm wondering if I should just kind of suck it up and continue commuting, or rent closer to work, or even maybe buy a house. And
what kind of work do you do, man?
At least build it. Mechanical engineering, aerospace engineering specifically.
So why do your job in the most expensive place in America to live?
I mean, that's where all the engineering jobs are. The other options like LA or San Francisco. I mean, there's other places, of course, but this is also kind of a smaller company, and just hoping I can move up fast. So,
Except, can I throw one wrench in there?
Yeah, sure.
You live with your mom.
Yeah.
Can you afford?
You live with your mom, dude.
Are you making money now that you have your job? Are you making enough money? Forget renting, forget buying for just a second. Forget how you're living. Are you making enough to live on your own in the place that you would need to live to be close to work?
Yeah, I wouldn't be saving much, but yeah.
Okay, so what I would suggest is, like John very eloquently put, getting out of mama's house, and I would find something that you can rent until you're able to buy. So when you're renting just to rent and you ain't got no plan and you're just, then you could say, oh, I'm just throwing money down the drain. But when you have a plan and you're saying, no, I have an intentional end to this and it's serving a purpose, then you're not throwing money down the drain. You are being smart is really what that boils down to.
And here's what it looks like to pull apart these variables here. The reason I asked you if you have to live there, you said yes. To do the thing I want to do, I have to live in one of 3 of the most expensive places in America to live. Okay. So that variable is covered, so it's off the table. I'm not going to not live in San Francisco, Los Angeles, or New York. So that means you have to own the other variables. Where am I going to live? What's this job in this place going to cost me? For you, it's going to cost you a couple of hours of living at mom's house and having to live with your mom and having to commute, or it's going to cost you extra money in rent. And so it's kind of like you want to have all of it work out where I want to work and have the money to do whatever it is I want to do. It's just not the reality. And so just make peace with renting for a season.
How old are you, Ed?
Just turned 24.
24? Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm not going to lie about this. I kind of am a little salty about folks who have a good enough relationship with their parents that they can live at home and save some money for a while. Because I wouldn't have been able to do it. It would have just been
I tried for 1 month, and after 1 month, my dad came in and goes, "Hey, I'll pay your first month's rent." And I was like, "Bye, Felicia, we gone."
Okay.
I was gone.
So Ed, I mean, I think, you've had this opportunity to stay with your mom, save some extra dollars. That's great. That served you well. I do think it's time for you to get out on your own at 24, especially since you do have this job. And since you said, yeah, I could get a place, even if you want to get some roommates and, to make it a little bit cheaper. Because again, when you're renting, let's clarify, you're kind of camping, right? This is not renting, living in luxury. You're trying to save money. So I wouldn't say to rent the most expensive place or rent your dream house. I'm not saying that. I'm saying camp for a while, save up the money, and then reevaluate. Because like to John's point, you might be like, hey, to actually buy, I might choose to live in a different state. I might choose to live somewhere less expensive. So take it one step at a time. But right now we're renting, we're saving, we're camping as renters, right? And that's what I would suggest. What do you I mean?
So here's where I've seen it in my world. I've seen friends of mine who were they were looking for a tenure track professor job. And of course they start with the Ivy League schools, they start with the fancier schools. And in their particular discipline, there's just no jobs open for 1 year or 2 years. Then they find themselves getting an offer at a smaller school that isn't a huge name in a smaller town. And that goes against, I'm a city person. I went to college in Los Angeles. I went to grad school in New York. That's just who I am. And then a couple years later, they're like, oh, gosh, dude, I get to sleep. And I walk to the supermarket, and I'm a part of this small community. And so it does when you start putting all the variables on the table, what was important for me was to say, I want this kind of life, and I want to do this kind of work. And now I'm going to reverse engineer where I do that, not let the geography dictate the life I'm leading. If you want to do that, that's all good. I'm going to live I know people. I've got friends. I will live in New York till the end of time. Cool. You're going to live in 400 square feet for $5,000 a month and whatever it is, right? That's just life. That's the life you chose. Awesome. Be happy with it. Just don't choose a life and then be frustrated by your own choices.
That's right. That's a good call out. Ed, thanks for the call. Hopefully we were able to give you some direction there. In the meantime, let's take a look at Chicago, Illinois, where we got Natasha on the line. What's going on, Natasha?
Hi.
Hey.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. What's going on?
So my question is for Dr. John Deloney. I hear you guys talk a lot about boundaries, and I want to set one with my family and extended family, but I'm afraid that they're not going to listen to it. What can I do without severing the relationship?
What are they asking you to do that you don't want to do?
My parents are pressuring me to stop renting because I'm throwing my money away and move into a mobile home, claiming that I can save a little bit on the monthly payment. I know.
I love America.
And I
We're
use
the
that
best.
money to pay off my debt. And I've made it loud and clear. I have taken Financial Peace University. I know the steps verbatim.
How old are you?
And I'm currently in step 2. I'm 28, turning 29 in a couple weeks.
Okay, I want you to repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
They do not get a vote.
Get a vote. I've heard that too.
The conversation is over there. Conversation's over there. So here's the cool thing. Do you work for them?
No.
Do you owe them money?
Kinda.
Get that paid off as though it was a foreign country coming for you. Pay it off ASAP.
It's not my smallest debt, though.
How far is it from being your smallest debt?
It's the last debt on the list.
Oh.
Okay, how about this? Who cares? They don't get a vote. They can run and listen, they're your parents. They're supposed to give you their insights and opinions because they know everything. And you're the one living your life. And so when they say, you're just throwing money away and you should be moving into a trailer park home that's going to depreciate so fast your head will spin off sideways, you could say, man, thank you so much. I appreciate that insight. Near, ta-da, that's
right. Conversations like that, and they just don't listen. Instead, they try to counteract it. Like I deal with the mental health problems.
Hold on. You can just leave. If somebody chooses to not respect me, then I get to choose to not be in their presence. If somebody chooses to affirmatively disrespect me, to not treat me with dignity, even if we disagree, man, I disagree all the time. Me and Dave disagree about a lot of stuff. We disagree. But our disagreements, especially ones behind closed doors, are always done with, we respect each other because he's a smart guy. He knows I'm a smart guy. He knows I love people and I love my faith, and he does too. And so we're on the same team. We just disagree with stuff. You're not going to treat me with respect, then I have a choice that I'm going to walk away. And the way I like to say this is, if somebody chooses to treat me with disrespect and somebody chooses to take my dignity from me over something as trivial as an opinion or the way I'm choosing to better myself financially, then they are choosing to not be in a relationship with me. And that is so harsh and it's so hard. I want you to practice saying, hey, I appreciate you guys. Hey, I'm going to head out. What? You're leaving? Yeah, I'm going to head out. Y'all have a great week, guys. I love y'all. And then just go. And just go. You've heard what they have to say. And as the great... Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
Hey,
that's all I'm saying.
Come
Bye,
on,
Felicia.
John. This is the Ramsey Show. All right, you guys are listening to The Ramsey Show, where we have a conversation about your life, your money, what's going on in your world. I'm Jade Warshaw, joined by #1 best-selling author, John Deloney.
How we doing?
Doing good, man. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. And as always, I want to remind you, if you are a new listener and you are interested in just learning more about what it is that we're talking about on this show, we talk about so many different financial concepts on a daily basis here. You might hear us use phrases that you're not quite familiar with. You might hear us talk about baby steps and you're not quite sure, well, what is baby step 3? What is baby step 5? Go to RamseySolutions.com and click on that Get Started button, and we're going to help you figure out the next best right step for you on your financial journey. And that's going to be based on where you are today. We like to meet folks where they're at, put the cookies right there. Look, we say put the cookies on the bottom shelf. Sometimes, John, I need to just leave a trail of cookie crumbs on the floor for some of these folks because I want you guys to get it. I want you to understand what's going on with your life. So go to RamseySolutions.com, click that Get Started button, and we're going to help you out wherever you're out. That's how that goes. All right, let's go to Ella in Houston,
Ella Umbrella. What's up?
Oh, I am trying to think of a way to pay off my credit cards, and I need to get some repairs on my house. And I was wondering which would be better, to refinance through my mortgage company or just go through a loan or a finance company.
What's making you feel like in order to do these things, you've got to pull it out through different sources of debt or tap into your home equity?
Well, I didn't know which way would be better.
Okay, let's see if we can talk through that a little bit. How much credit card debt are we talking about?
Close to $8,000.
Okay. How much for the home? You said home repairs?
Yes, I need a lot done. I need a new air conditioner unit.
Okay.
And my floors need redoing, and I need new windows because these are really old and they're not energy efficient.
Okay.
And need painting all through the house and just a lot of repairs. Oh, yeah, and I need a new roof.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how much are you earning currently? Or what's your financial situation?
Monthly or year?
You said
monthly is a little over $3,600 a month.
Okay. A little over $3,600 a month. How old are you?
79.
Okay. And what type of money is this? Is this coming from retirement? Is this coming from
retirement and pension?
Okay. And is it just you?
Yes.
Okay.
Who's telling you you need to do all these aesthetic things?
Who's telling me?
Mm-hmm.
I know it has to be done. I mean, my insurance, house insurance, has already told me I needed to replace the roof because it's leaking. Oh, yeah, and I need some parts of the ceiling replaced because of the leaks.
Oh, I, don't get me wrong, absolutely. But when I think of, if I look at the list, let me back out. Both Jade and I are going to plead with you. I might even beg, please don't borrow money. Not at 79 years, not ever. I don't want you to be beholden to some bank that's going to keep you from sleeping every night. I would much rather you figure out a way to pay for this in cash over time. Air conditioner, emergency. Especially, I grew up in Houston. I get that's brutal. Roof replacement, and especially in a community like Houston, it will mold and cause a disaster. You got to get that fixed.
Yeah.
But sometimes, if all I can afford is a $5,000 fix, then I'm going to have them not replace the whole thing. I'm have them fix it so I can save up. Is that inconvenient? Yeah. Am I going to maybe be redoing some work down the road? Yeah. But I'm going to put my head on my pillow every night there in that town, knowing that nobody owns me. So we're going to recommend you not do that. How much cash do you have on hand? You have any savings or cash at all?
Not much. Not enough to do any of the repairs. But if I don't get the roofing off, a couple of thousand is all.
Like 2,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where does that money go?
For credit cards and food and gas.
Okay.
So you're pulling about $3,600 a month to live on. What's your nest egg? How much is that? If you don't mind me asking.
It's not much. Like I said, I don't have no more saved up than probably 2,000.
No, I'm talking about, you said you draw some of the money from a pension, and I thought you said you draw some money off of a retirement.
Yeah, I get about $3,600 a month, a little bit over $3,600 a month.
And is there a nest egg that's coming off of?
Yeah, how much is in those
that?
retirement accounts?
How much is in my retirement?
Mm-hmm.
My Social Security is all I get in my pension.
Oh, okay. So it's Social Security and it's a pension. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm guessing the payments that you get from your pension, you can't access that in any other way.
No.
Got it. Okay.
And then too, if I don't get my repairs, the house insurance will not go through.
Sure, that happened with me too. I understand how that happens.
What's your mortgage payment every month, Ella?
$910.
Okay, $910. Where's the rest of that money going? What I'm trying to get at here is I want to make it to where we're paying off this credit card debt. It's $8,000. I know that feels like a lot, but I think you can get that knocked out pretty quickly if we get you on a budget. And if it's the house, $900, okay, that's working for you. But what else are you putting money towards besides that's taking the rest of this $3,600? And is there a way that we can start paying off this credit card? And then is there a way that we can start looking at these, repairs in order of importance, little by little? Because AC, if your AC is going out, it's the middle of summer, that's top of the list, right? And then some of the other things like painting might be, last on the list.
Yeah.
So I think it's a matter of getting these listed in order of importance and finding a solution that fits in your budget. Because at the end of the day, that's all you've got.
Yeah. Oh, I have one more thing that I have to get done. My vehicle, I was told that I have to have a new engine because they've already fixed all they can, and it's going to cost them $6,000 to $8,000 to replace the engine for the labor and the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my inspection is due next month, and it won't pass inspection.
I would get a second opinion on that.
I sure would.
On that car, okay?
Oh, I have. I've already got,
What's the car worth?
It's a 2012 Dodge Caravan. I'm not sure.
Just make sure that the repairs aren't worth more than the vehicle itself.
Yeah, well, they suggested that I just not repair it and get another one because they said put more money into that.
That's
There's
right.
other things wrong with it.
But that's also easy for them to say because they don't have to sleep at night. Here's
Yeah.
Let us just, you know how much you're struggling with those credit card payments? You know that scary feeling that you have?
Yeah.
Okay, imagine taking a $10,000 roof and a $7,000 air conditioner and putting that on top of that credit card.
Yeah.
I get that you're being told by some professionals and maybe some family members that you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do this. But at the end of the day, here's all I can do.
You got to do what you can afford to do.
And so I would I would go down to bare bones. I can only pay for this. I can only pay for my rent. I can pay for the bare essentials on my food. And that's going to be it for a couple of months. And I'm going to meet with a roofer, maybe 2 of them down there in town, and see who can take care of this for the quickest and the least expensive. And is there a senior citizen discount? And if I pay you in cash, and we're just going to get that roof knocked out, and it's going to be uncomfortable for 3 months. And that's how we're going to live. We're going to do the same thing with air conditioner. And if you can duct tape and baling wire that thing together so it gets you a little bit of cold air, we're going to do that too. Maybe get a window unit and just sit in one room or put it in your bedroom. But we're not going to borrow money, because I don't want you just losing more and more sleep, because your body is going to wear that, honey, okay?
Ooh. That does it for
tough,
this
tough.
hour of The Ramsey Show. We'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting live from the Pod Moving and Storage Studio. It's The Ramsey Show, where America is hanging out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by Dr. John Deloney. In this hour, we're going to be taking calls about you. You get to decide what it is that we're going to talk about today. Are we going to talk about getting on a budget? Are we going to talk about renting versus buying a house outright? Are we going to talk about how to get this money saved? The show is about you. So give us a call. 888-825-5225 is the number. And in the meantime, we're going to go to Sherry in Calgary, Canada. Oh, Sherry. What's going on, girl?
Oh, nothing much. I kind of had, I hope you guys are doing well today, by the way, but
that's the most Canadian, like, welcome. Like, you just had to get some niceness in there. You're so great.
Yeah.
You're so great.
Well, thank you. So I'm in a bit of a weird situation, and this is, I guess, more of a question for you, John. Sorry, Jade. But so I'm a part of a family business, and I came back full-time from university 2 years ago. And I'm struggling setting up boundaries with my dad, who is the owner and has been for the last, since I was born, so 25 years ago. And I'm trying to get my life set up, like, not only professionally, which I think I'm doing a pretty good job, and I don't mean to disrespect him at all, but just like telling him that I cannot physically work as much as he can. And like, I haven't had a day off in, I think, over 4 months.
Wow.
I'm burning out, and I don't know how to tell him. Like, I have had these conversations where I tell him, like, hey, I can't, I need a day to just get the house in order and, like, do laundry, and he just doesn't understand that.
Is it just you and him?
So it's pretty much just me and him, yeah. And I try to give him days off, and he's been able to take a vacation in the span of time, and he's about 60, so I feel bad letting him take on all the work all the time, and also, like, I'm trying my best, but I just don't know how to deal with this.
No, it's absolutely. There's reason there's laws about breaks. A human can't work 4 months in a row without a day off. That's just madness. And so I think
like, it's in agriculture, so I have like over 200 hours a month.
Ooh,
yeah,
Lord.
exactly. So Is it okay if I'm super direct with you? We'll still be best friends?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Sure.
So I want you to put the family business aside. I want you to put the relationship with your dad off to the side for a second. And if you called into this show and you said, hey, I'm working for this supervisor. He's a nice guy. I've told him what I need. I told him that I'm running into the ground, that I've worked for 4 days straight. I'm working 200 hours a week running ag. I would tell you to quit the job before the day is over because it's going to kill you. And here's the thing. The reason you're calling is because you know it is killing you. You can feel it. And you also have this other thing hovering over here, which is your relationship with your dad. And so the best I have ever seen it in my whole professional career is the way Dave and Rachel and Daniel and Denise, the kids, handle it. Here's a couple of the rules, and I've seen it in action, and as a bystander, it can be super uncomfortable. When Rachel Cruz asks, did you hear what Dave said? And I'm asking, like, oh, is this a test? Because that's your dad. That's your dad. At the office, all the kids call him Dave. They refer to him as Dave. I've seen them in meetings get very heated, and the conversation is to Dave and to Rachel.
Right.
And then I've seen them at the house, and it's Dad. And everybody at the table.
Work-life separation.
Yes, everybody at the table has to agree that we can talk about work for somebody to bring up work. There's just a big no. And I've seen it. It's incredible.
Right.
And here's the deal. You're not getting that from your dad like you should. So you have to take you have to get back in the driver's seat of your own life and say, Dad, I no longer work on Sundays. Period. I will not work.
Yeah.
I'm crashing into the ground. I'm not going to answer my phone. My phone shuts off.
Sherry, what happens if you do that?
Well, it's not just consequences for like our relationship, right? It's like the business in general. And I've tried to bring up maybe because we can afford it, we can hire help, but he just doesn't like seem to want to trust people.
But he doesn't. No, it's not it. He doesn't need to because you keep showing up.
Well, kind of.
He doesn't need to hire anybody because you show up and you show up.
Right.
As the great Henry Cloud says, your dad needs to get some problems.
That's so good.
He needs to get nobody working on Sunday, and he'll hire somebody.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. It's just I've tried to do that. Like this winter, I kind of tried to set up a schedule with everybody, and then I also started interviewing people just kind of without his consent because I'm also like kind of an owner-operator now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, not really because you're not getting the salary, right?
Yeah, you're not getting paid what you want to get paid. You're working.
I am. No, I get paid. I get paid quite a bit. And
okay.
I did successfully negotiate my way up, but it's just kind of, and I do have a lot of decision-making power. I do all of our marketing. I've definitely made this place grow over the course of 2 years.
Look, we're not. John and I are not arguing your value.
You keep apologizing
to the company. We know you're valuable.
I just don't know how to get him on board with maybe hiring another person.
John gave you the solution.
He's not going to. You've tried. Okay. You've tried for months and months to reason with him, to educate him. He's not getting the message.
Sherry, you're so sweet.
I know.
And you're so
and you love
kind,
him.
and you love him, and he's your dad. You need to give this man some problems.
I am not working on Sundays, and I leave Saturdays at noon.
That's right.
I will lead the hiring if you would like me to hire somebody, but I don't work on those days because I have to have my life. This can't be the rest of your life. Even if this was the life he chose, and you grew up with a dad who worked 200 hours a week, and you didn't get to meet him until after you got out of college.
Ooh.
He works more. He has another business that he also runs.
That's right.
So I think he's just seeing me as like, oh, well, you only have one thing to handle. So
hey, listen. He doesn't get a vote into your personal life. Yeah. In your business life, you've gone into partnership with him. He absolutely gets a vote. And I would suggest sitting down and saying, Dad, here's my rules. I'm gonna call you by your first name here because I'm struggling with these roles getting crossed. It's hard for me to balance them. So I'm going to start calling you Dan at work, and I'm going to call you Dad at home. You ain't calling me Dan. Okay. I am. At work, I'm going to call you Dan. And then at home, I'm going to call you Dad.
I'll try that.
And then Sundays, I don't work. Saturdays, I'm off at noon. I will walk out. And you have to be courageous and gangster and brave and actually walk out. And it will have to be uncomfortable for a couple of times before your dad's like, oh, we'll just hire somebody. Then if you're just going to quit on me, all right, cool, I'll hire somebody. And then make it happen that way.
I think Sherry's a G. I think she's gonna.
She has to.
I think she's gonna gangster up and put Dad in his rightful place so she can maintain her relationship.
You can have a lot. Yeah, this is all in service of I want to still like you as my dad.
Okay.
And I'm starting to not like you as my dad.
That's how you do it. John laid it out for you. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
All right. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw, your host today, joined by Dr. John Deloney, your other host for the day. Taking calls about your life and money. You know the number, 888-825-5225 is it. All right. Our question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Neighborly's nationwide network of locally owned home service pros like Molly Maid, you got Shelf Genie, you've got Mr. Appliance. These guys take the stress out of home repairs, maintenance, and improvements. Visit neighborly.com to schedule a service today.
I think I need to holler at all of those people.
I do too.
All right, today's question comes from Charlotte in Tennessee. Ooh, Charlotte just cuts right to it. What is the downside to purchasing something with 0% interest?
Ooh.
What's the downside?
That's a good question. I like to go back to a little thing. It is a proverb, and it says, "The borrower is indeed slave to the lender."
But so I'm going to play devil's advocate. But that borrowing doesn't cost me anything.
Well, it does cost you. You're not paying anything additional. So let's say we have a vehicle. It's $20,000. And you finance it, right? 0%. So you're still paying payments. You're not paying anything additionally, but you've still said, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars for the next 5 years for this car. So you're still adding a layer of risk to your life. You're a slave to that lender because it's like, hey, I'm on the hook to pay this money. If anything should happen in my life, if I lose my job, if I don't know, mama decides she wants to stay at home now and be a stay-at-home mom, and we go down to a one-income family, and now I'm feeling the stress of that, there's still this idea, John, that if we can't pay cash for something, we can't afford it, period. If you're asking how much a month instead of asking how much, then do you see what I'm saying? You're borrowing at that point. So even though theoretically, yeah, if you were going to borrow money, which I think is a horrible idea, and yeah, a lower interest rate is better than a higher interest rate, and a 0 interest rate is better than interest, but you're still borrowing money. To that end, I'd be like, hey, just pay it off.
And the average car loan is between 5 and 7 years now, right?
Yeah.
They've kicked it out. Just for context, 6 years ago was 2 states and 3 jobs for me away that I did not know existed.
Wow. Yeah.
2 states and 3 jobs away. And so to say I'm going to chain myself to something, even though it's not going to be a chain and a slap in the face, it's just going to be a chain.
Uh-huh.
And for the next 5 to 7 years, I'm confident enough in our government. I'm confident enough in my boss, who I don't like. I'm confident enough in the market that I'm watching fail right in front of me. Whatever you do.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. I'll be able to make these payments.
That's such a good point.
You're just chanting yourself. And dude, I live 1,000 miles from where I would have signed that note. I'm a YouTuber, for God's sake. Everything's different now.
Yeah.
And so the idea that it's just that your life is going to be static, that your kids are not going to need braces, that whatever is going to happen. And listen, I get it, because I've been you listening. You guys who are listening, watching, I've been you going, yeah, but that happens to other people. Jade and I and Dave and Rachel, George, none of us would have a job if everybody's plans always worked out. We would have this building wouldn't exist.
Are you saying that they keep us in business, John?
I'm saying that everybody's got, as the great Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until you get hit in the mouth, and everybody gets hit in the mouth. And so don't set yourself up. Don't chain yourself to something hoping that your world is static 7 years from now. Mm-hmm. If you can't pay for it in cash, you cannot afford it. You can't afford it. And that's okay. That is okay. That's okay.
You know, you make such a good point, John. We always project. It's like when we project the future, it's always perfect.
Always.
It's like, I'll be in this job and I'll be making this money and the kids will be healthy and everybody will be perfect. And it's like, no, dude, I wish that was the case.
We do it worse, Jade. We one up. We go, and I'm going to be getting 5% raises every year. So in 6 years, I'm going to be making this much, and then I'll be...
Which is even more ridiculous than to keep the debt. Because it's like, look, if you know you're making money, go ahead and pay that joker off is all I'm saying. Okay, I think we basically drilled that one into the ground.
I want you to be free. That's all I'm saying.
The borrower is slave to the lender. If you don't ask how much a month, simply ask how much and pay in cash. That's
or even better,
the moral
I've learned,
of the story.
Just say, I'm gonna give you this much. Can I give you this much for that car? Can I give you this much for that thing? And man, that changes the conversation a lot.
I like it. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Kelly in Philadelphia.
Where she was born and
West
raised.
Philadelphia. Look, we were both there.
Hey, the playground is where she spent most of her days. What's up, Kelly?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Partying.
Good.
Very similar to the storyline that you were going around with getting punched in the face. Definitely living in that right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
So I made an assumption about a situation. Needless to say, the backstory is I got debt-free about 5 years ago. Started saving up really heavily for a house. That was always my dream, to be able to buy something of my own. Ended up in a relationship about 3 years ago, and at that time I was still living at my parents' house, and we went for it. We decided that, I had enough money saved. I was going to put down money on a house, and we can move into it and have our future, home for the long term. Needless to say, that relationship ended. So now I have a house that's probably at the top tier of my budget, that I am struggling to decide what to do with now. So I love the community I'm in. I love my neighborhood. I feel like this is the one thing that is now consistent in my life versus all the other changes that I'm going through. But I'm making about $200 more than what my expenses are per month. So I'm trying to decide if this house that I have an extra room in, would it make sense to have a roommate and try to, get back to, being able to pay towards this a little bit faster than I am currently in my current situation.
I'm going to let John talk to you about what I think is deeper than the money issue here. But hear me when I say, if you only have $200 in margin, this house is too expensive. Having a roommate is a good idea, but I would only enter into a situation like that when you can make the payment regardless of a roommate, and the roommate is just icing on top. So you need to think about a way to get out of this home, and John's going to tell you why.
Yeah, except I'm going to put a caveat on it.
Okay.
This is, how long ago is this breakup? It sounds like it is still right there at the top of your heart.
It was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so you're still living in it.
I've been trying to do the budgeting now, like what does my future look like? Obviously, this was on the back burner for the first few weeks of trying to,
just
process
breathe again.
everything.
Yeah, just breathe again. Yeah. So,
but I'm trying to be smart about my next steps and
yes. So
do what's right.
somebody who was very important to me, a mentor of mine, the guy who trained me on crisis response, actually the guy that gave me the phrase, facts are your friends, Dr. Young. He gave me some personal wisdom when I had a personal tragedy several years ago that has proven to be wise, not only in my life, but in the life of people I've sit with when things get sideways. And that is, if at all possible, do not make a giant decision for at least 6 months after something wild has happened in your life. And so I can imagine you having memories in this home with this boyfriend about you made plans in this house. And I bet you'd walked by a room and thought that was going to be the nursery. Like, you've made plans in this house. And so the temptation, I completely understand, would be to run from this thing. And if you think you can sell this house and be done, awesome. And just clear your hands of it, great. But it also sounds like you're connected to this place in something a little bit different. So let's do this. I want you to hang on the line. We're going to go to a break, and then we're going to bring you back right when the break's over. And we're going to talk this through all the way. I'm going to give you a couple of options I think that might be helpful for you, okay?
Thank you so much.
You got it. Hang on the line, and we'll be right back here on The Ramsey Show.
It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
What's going on, everybody? You are listening to The Ramsey Show, a show about life and money and getting it all together and making it look right, because some of y'all's situation is not looking right and you need help. That's cool. We're all trying to do better. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225, and we're going to try to help you. John is a mental health expert, and they call me John a money expert.
I got it. Hey, you're an expert at teaching people how to do the right thing.
That's right.
Time.
That's
awesome.
right. And
so, hey, right before the last break, we were talking to Kelly, who was out in Philadelphia, and she had a dream. She bought a house. She saved up a lot of money. She moved in with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend moved in her house, and they had dreams and plans, and then they broke up.
Oof.
And now she's looking at the budget. Like, the smoke is starting to clear on the reality. He's moved out. He's gone. And after all bills are covered, she's got two $100 bills left.
Oh, that's right.
And she is feeling the pinch. Did I get that right, Kelly?
That is very close to, yeah.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So here...
It's hitting close to home, literally.
And it sounds almost surreal to hear somebody else just rattle off your life, right?
Yeah, and I haven't really verbalized it, so even just hearing somebody else telling me about it, it's a little surreal, for sure.
So if you put your house on the market today, in the area where you live, would it sell pretty quick?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's an option to consider. And one thing you mentioned that I think we discount a lot in our culture is community. I've got friends, I've got neighbors, I've got people who will show up at 2 a.m. if I need them. It sounds like you have that in your community?
I do, yeah.
Okay. If people say, like, I really love the area because it's got a pool and, like, it's close to a Publix, I could care less. If somebody says, like, no, I got some ride or dies in this community, that means something to me. That means something to me. So I might reach out. If you were my sister, I would say, hey, call a couple of friends and see if you could have a roommate by the end of the month. By next month, if you could have somebody move in and just say this is for 6 months while the smoke clears on this thing, and you might hear me crying in my room at night sometimes, and that's okay. Do you think that would be possible? It's going to be weird and annoying, but is that possible?
Definitely possible.
Okay.
That's definitely possible.
How do you feel if you had a roommate who was paying you $1,500 or $1,000 or whatever to give you a little bit of gap room there. How does that feel?
I'm not too proud to do that.
I thought you were going to say I ain't too proud to beg, and I was about to high five you through the phone. So you're not. I would go as far as to not even say I'm too proud to do that. I would say no. I get to help somebody out in a wild rental market, and I get to sleep at night for a season. And then the other question you're going to have to ask yourself over the next 5 to 6 months while this person's living there is, do you like having a roommate? Is this a long-term thing? And Jade brought up a really important point. I'm always nervous for someone to have a house payment that they can't afford unless they have a renter. And so it may be I need to start looking at different work. It may be that I need to start looking at, can I take on a second job and get this mortgage down and then refinance it? How can I change my financial situation before I just run off and haul off and sell this house? What's your monthly payment on this place?
It's just over $1,600.
Just over $1,600? So you couldn't even rent a place for that out there, could you?
No.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like in this weird dilemma.
I would grab a roommate until I could just, because you think the fog is clearing now, it's probably going to be a couple more months at least, okay?
Hey, what's your monthly take home pay?
It's $3,100.
Okay, yeah, you're
tight,
struggling.
tight. What do you do for a living, Kelly?
Are you still there?
Just cut out.
Sorry, I work for an insurance company.
How much do you make a year?
It's just about $68,000.
Okay.
Are you? Yeah, this is definitely tight. I mean, I'm with John, definitely on the emotional side of things, holding off and just letting the smoke clear. But I do want you getting into a situation where you're the one that's able to afford this house, even without a roommate. Having a roommate's great, like that's, income or whatnot, but you're not going to feel calm until you know that you can afford this even without the renter. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do have $10,000 saved as like my emergency fund for some relief on that end, but I definitely feel like I need to start making a decision so that
because your emergency fund is not because your emergency fund is not there to float you, month to month. It's there for and you get that. So
maybe get a roommate for 6 months or a year and sock that money away. Just keep that cash for if you're going to end up transitioning out or transitioning and moving, whatever comes up. And then maybe over the next 2 or 3 months, I think you'll find some peace there. And I think some clarity emerges if you can just hold on during this storm here. But yeah, $200 extra a month. Man, that's any number of things. It costs more than $200. I'm trying to think of the electrical issue I've got. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So, that's really, really tight.
Thanks for the call, Kelly. That's a tough situation, but I think that you've got the tools to navigate that from here on out. John, let's take another call. Let's talk to Christopher. Oh, he's from your neck of the woods, Fort Worth.
He's from the right side. 817. What's up, Christopher?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Stressed out, to say the least.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
I'm just trying to get my wife on the same page and, figure out that our finances are as bad as I'm thinking they are, because I'm losing sleep over it. Basically, we're going paycheck to paycheck. My wife's having to, do the little pay advances through work to get to the next week so stuff gets paid.
Yikes.
And then we've got, small credit card debts or the rent to owns and
So go ahead, John.
I was going to say, what turned the light on for you?
Just even though that we're both making, significantly, we're making around, $70,000-$80,000 a year. So we're bringing home $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but
you're renting to own, bro. You're either propping up a lifestyle that's not real, or you are broke.
We're broke. Like rent to own furniture, rent to own, appliances.
Why do you guys keep choosing that? My screen, I'm just going to tell you what my screen says. My screen says, how do I get my wife to take our finances seriously? But
and that's the biggest thing right there, because everything that I've suggested as far as ways that we can cut around the budget, something always gets shot down.
This is not about cutting around the budget. This is about changing your entire life. You're talking to somebody in Jade who slept on an air mattress for years. You're talking about me who, for our 20th anniversary, my wife said, hey, we've had a headboard that you bought off Craigslist and spray painted. Could we get a real bed? 20 years. And listen, brother, Dave Ramsey pays us real well. So like rent to own furniture, it can't even wrap my head around how insane that is.
Insanity. What that tells me is you guys are what my dad used to say, trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you're renting to own furniture because you feel like you should have a certain look and a certain this, you guys need to kiss that goodbye and get real with what you earn, what that looks like monthly, and the lifestyle that you can actually afford. And as it relates to your wife, I'll be honest, marriage, it's a two-way street. Both folks are on it. So it's not like, unless she went to the rent to own place without you, unless she said and decided on her own, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, it's both of you guys. If she's doing it, you're allowing it. So it's both of you guys contributing to this mess. And it's going to take both of you guys to get on the same page and to really sit down and say, are we going to be adults or are we going to be kids?
Almost every time, Chris, a guy calls me with this, there's some sort of schemer. They've had some sort of plan, and then I got another plan, and then 5 years or 10 years into the relationship, it's like, oh, I got this other plan. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to flip houses. Is that you?
No.
Okay.
We're basically, we were making, pretty much minimum wage jobs, barely making it. And then as we were, almost thought we were making more. So we wound up, getting into the trap of spend.
Yeah, y'all started spending.
You just quit saying no. So listen, I want you to take your wife out for breakfast and say the following: honey, I'm scared to death about our money. Would you make a budget with me? Would you help me be intentional about our money so that we can change our family tree? Hang on the line. We're going to send you Financial Peace University. I want y'all to watch those classes together and change your life.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by John Deloney. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225, and we will do our best to answer your question or put you on the right track. Let's take a call. Let's go to Cheney in Waco, Texas. What's going on, Cheney?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. So I'll just get to it. My husband and I are on baby step 4, 5, and 6.
Sweet.
And we have 5 kids, so we're trying to figure out the 529 situation. I'm nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous.
So our kids are 7, 5, 3, 2, and 1.
Ooh, girl.
And our young, yeah, I'm trying to hide from them right now.
Very good.
Hopefully they're not too loud. But our youngest 2 have college taken care of. We adopted them, so that's part of their adoption subsidy.
Okay.
But our oldest 3, we don't have anything set up for them yet.
Okay.
And we have about $300 to $400 a month to put towards that.
That's great.
So my question is, should we have 3 separate 529s? Or just one big one? Mm-hmm. Should we do 5 for all of them just in case? Or
that's such a good question. With 529s, of course, I always, would suggest that you get with a Ramsey trusted professional on that can help you with the investment side of it, because they're going to help you decide how to divvy up that money, whether you should focus on, one kid first, that being the oldest, or, they're going to help you sort through that. That being said, and they're going to help you select the right one because they're state specific, right? And you can choose, you don't have to necessarily choose the state that you live in. You can choose another state's 529 that might have better options for you. So definitely work with a Ramsey trusted professional on that. But as far as the idea of do you need just one account or open one for all of them, off the top of my head, I would probably open one for all of them for a couple of reasons. One being like the beneficiary situation. I think that it's simpler because once that money is in there, it's designated for that child. Now, some of them, depending on the state, you can use them for different siblings on down the line. But just to keep it clean, I'd probably do separate 529s for each of them. John, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, there's also some tax advantages. And so depending on what state you live in, they may allow X number of thousands of dollar deduction based on a 529 plan. And if you have 3 kids in one plan, you're going to get a single deduction. If you have 3 plans, you get to deduct that each time.
That's a very good point.
And so, yeah, I would just for cleanliness. And then the final thing and I'm going to have to go all dark and sad here, but if something were to happen to you and your husband and you have these existing plans and there's just one lump sum, you're going to have to expect your custodian to properly delineate this and make decisions on this versus this. And we want to support this kid who was the first kid in college and they got into Stanford. And then the other kid, you see what I'm saying? It just gets messy. If you have them delineated out, there's no confusion there. If me as an executor, if I show up to take care of your kids in your absence, I'm able to go, okay, here's account for this kid, here's account for this kid, here's account for this kid. And that's like Jade said, it just makes it clean. And I think that makes it simple.
What do you think?
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, that sounds great. I've been mulling over this for about a month. So.
Yeah. And by the way, there can be a paralysis by analysis. Just open them up and get rolling. You're good. You're good.
Yeah. I'm really good at that paralysis.
I am too.
Awesome. Thanks for the call, Cheney. We appreciate you. Very, very cool. That's good stuff, John. Things to think about in baby step 5. Baby step 5 is funding kids' college. And we do suggest, 529 plans, ESAs can work. And, in the baby steps, we don't say a specific amount. A lot of times we'll say, hey, save 3 to 6 months or invest 15% of your income. But when it comes to kids' college, we're pretty open about what you decide to do or decide what you don't want to put into that. You might be the type that's like, hey, my kids are going to get a job and get scholarships and they're going to work through school and we're only going to, fund this little bit. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. But
I think that's important. And here's the key. You have to be honest and open with your kid, probably when they're a freshman in high school.
That's right.
There's going to be $50,000 in this account.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to community college locally for free. Mm-hmm. And then you can go to any state college you want to in the United States for that $50,000 for the back half. Mm-hmm. Or you can go to the state school and use 25 of it and then 25 of it for grad school, whatever you want. But there's going to be 50 in that account. Or there's going to be 10 in that account.
Period.
Or there's going to be $200,000 in this, like whatever.
Yes.
But it's a parent's job, even when it feels shameful, even when it feels embarrassing, to sit down with your kid really early in the process and say, here is the situation when it comes to college.
I think that is the determining factor in all of this, because so many kids, they get, they turn 18 and it's like they've got this idea in their mind of where they want to go. Right. And they're the ones that start talking about it first. And then the parents are like, oh, she says she wants to go to Emory. That's expensive. Da, 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 da. And then instead of them, because they've never mentioned payment before, now you turn to student loans. And that's how you start going down that crazy train of student loans. So having that conversation, look, John, my parents said to all of us, there's 4 of us. I have 2 brothers and a sister. And my parents were like, y'all better be really smart or really great athletes. Because y'all ain't getting any money.
But hey, they told you on the front end.
They told us on the front end. And do you want to know what I did? I played like 3 different sports and I tried to figure out which one I can master. I got a volleyball scholarship and I was like, I got to figure out how to do math so I can get an academic scholarship. And I did. And, it would have been great to be one of those people that's got a college fund and money set up for you. But the key here is everybody's not going to be in that situation. And even if you do have a college fund, if it's only $10,000. So what you're saying is really the solution here. It's just have these conversations with your kids. Let them know what the expectation is. Let them know what you can and cannot do. And it's as simple as that.
I love that. I love it.
Cool. You think we can take another call?
Let's go for it.
Let's do it real quick. Come on. Let's
Neil,
go
we're
on,
up against
Neil.
the clock, brother. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. I'm struggling if I should sell my rental property in Orange County, and I've owned it for 44 years. I recently wound up with some noisy neighbors upstairs. It's getting a little more difficult to rent out, and it's getting tougher to find good tenants.
How old are you,
nowadays. I'm 75.
Is this your only? Is it completely paid for? Yes, right?
Oh, yes, completely paid for.
Do you have any other debt?
No debts at all.
So if you sold this, it would just be because I'm tired of fooling with it. It's getting harder and harder to rent. Maybe I can do something better with the cash.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, with the profit, I'm just going to probably put it in T-bills or something like that. So.
Dude, I can hear it in your voice, and this is a good thing. You're done being a landlord.
Yeah.
You've got 20 years left to ride off into the sunset without dealing with idiots messing up the plumbing or whatever. Yeah, it's time.
And be honest, Neil, you got money. You got some money laying around. Okay,
yeah,
I can hear it in your voice. I could just
Hey, treat it like an old. I was gonna say something's gonna get me canceled. I would because that's been a part of your life. You almost have a relationship with this place, right?
Yeah.
That's right. And that's the problem. Yeah.
It is the problem, but also it's just an apartment. So I'd sell it. I would sell it tomorrow, and I would take that cash. Yes, and I'd put it in some sort of retirement vehicle, or you know what I'd do? I'd actually spend some of it too, brother. Go have some fun.
All right.
I love that. I love that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And then next month when you have nothing to go fix or no repairman to call, you can just smile real big and then check your account balance and smile even bigger.
That's right. I love it. What you think, Neil?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Congratulations, man. I love calls like that, John. Neil, that's the business.
Neil set up 44 years, man.
I asked him.
Same property.
Look, I was treading lightly because I'm like, after 44 years, you better dadgum well own this house. Thank goodness he did. I could tell that he did. But I love those kind of calls where it's like, hey, I basically got wealth sitting right here. What can I do with it? There's no wrong answer, but you're right. He was just tired of fooling with the renting game.
Well, and it's okay. Listen, America, listen to me carefully. It's okay to change your mind. You can not want anything to do with real estate and then be all in on real estate and then I don't want to be a landlord anymore. You get to do that because it's America. Change your mind. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Good for you.
I love that. All right, guys, that does it for today's show. We'll see you next time.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, conveniently joined by co-host Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking calls about your life, your money. We are here all afternoon. You guys can call in. The number is 888-825-5225. So if you are at home and you got the YouTube on and you're vacuuming, you can call. If you're listening first hour, call us in. If you're like, man, I've always listened to that show, but I don't know if they'll take my call. Call. You never know. You might get through. If you're listening on podcast, write down the number. And then, next time, when it's time, give us a call. We want to chat about the things that are important to you. We want to help you sort out your life and your money. And by the way, if you are a person that's listening, thank you for listening. You guys are what keep us running, as the Doobie Brothers said. And we are so grateful for you listening, whether it's on the podcast app, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen. Thank you. And do us one more. do a favor and share the show if you can. Share it with a buddy of yours. You can text them your favorite episode. But when you do that, it's good for all of us. It makes this show become more apparent in people's feed. You know what I'm saying? It pumps it up in the algorithm so they see it and more people can get this news of hope and freedom. And we want that. So go ahead and share it. While you're there, go ahead and like it, subscribe it. That would be very, very good because John, we're not out here spending these advertising dollars like some of these folks are. And you guys, y'all did it. Y'all are the ones that shared it. So thank you for that. All right, let's go to the phone lines. I think I'm ready to do that. We've got Val from Edmonton, Canada. Oh Lord, what's going on in Edmonton, Val?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so nervous. I'm so glad you guys took my call.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Val, you are the second Canadian to call to start the show with such kindness and positivity. Thank you for injecting joy into this wild world we live in.
Well, I tell everybody here, too, and I guess the biggest lesson I've learned is, fortunately, I've been listening to this Dave Ramsey show for a very long time, and at the beginning I didn't really, I listened to it because I apply that. I'm the type of person that will not sleep overnight because I owe money or I'm in debt, and unfortunately my ex-husband didn't feel that way. But the good news is when I start listening to Dave Ramsey, there were so many red flags saying, we're not doing that, I am, but he's not, but we's not. Then, fortunately or unfortunately, almost ended up on the street because of his gambling.
Shoot.
And but when I tried to implement all of these things, it was very healing for me, even though very painful, that I realized we're not on the same page at all, and nor were we going to be. And he would just, keep gambling, almost lost my home, and so on and so forth. So if nothing else, please, everybody that's listening, it's painful, but you have to do it because at the end of the day, it's going to happen anyways. So at least you're going to be prepared. The other thing I want to ask, I'm 68 years old, and I've taken menial jobs, which I never think they're menial jobs, but not what I usually do in my life. I've always worked with nonprofit for low-income seniors or, kids or whatever. And I'm just wondering at this stage of the game that I have a very hard time finding a job. I have to take cleaning jobs or retail jobs, things that are a little bit harder for me.
Uh-huh.
But just the question I guess I really want to know, how do I get to live comfortably? I know I've downsized everything, apartment. I can't find apartments too expensive, and, jobs are very, they don't want to hire you because you're too old. So I guess there are times where I think, well, how do I go about that?
So right now you're feeling, so the word I heard was, how do I live comfortably? So right now it feels like you're living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Feels like you don't have money to do the things that you want to do, and maybe even some of the things that you need to do. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, and I think the biggest thing that I'm questioning is, how did I get here so quickly when I've worked hard all my life, 2 jobs. I worked 80 hours a week to pay off Revenue Canada because I got done with that.
Well, my guess is, sometimes we find ourselves in situations and it's like, man, how did I get here? It may have been some choices that were made that got you there, whether by you directly or by the people that, affect your life. It sounds like your husband has played a major part in the state of your finances at this point. So right now, can I get just a quick picture of what things look like? Tell me what you're bringing home every month after taxes. And then I kind of want to get a picture of if there's debt, if there's savings. I kind of want to get a quick picture of your financial snapshot. So what do you take home every month after taxes?
About $3,000 a month.
Okay.
And then I have my pensions.
In addition to?
That's about $1,000 a month.
Okay.
I think it is.
So now we're to about $4,200 a month?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that you want to add to that monthly income?
No, that's it.
Okay, great.
And the problem I'm struggling with is I'm doing cleaning of condos, and it's taken a toll on me, right? I don't know how much longer I can do this, and I'm getting stressed out about it, because if I don't do this job and been trying to find other jobs, then I'm down to $1,000 a month, and that's just not enough to live on, right?
That's right. What's your debt situation?
None. Zero.
No debt.
I just paid off my Revenue Canada.
Great. What's your living situation? Are you homeowner or are you renter?
No, renting. I actually moved in with my son because the rents were getting too high and the power, I just couldn't manage it. Because at the time I couldn't find a job, and now I've actually found a job, but still, I can. If I'm following Dave Ramsey's areas, that's why I downsized a year ago. I was renting from a friend, and that become a little dicey there, and too much money, and my son split up with his wife, so I decided to move in with him and help him. It's not the
Is there a
best
timeline on
situation,
that?
but
Is there a timeline with your son?
No, there isn't, and that was the other question. I've been there a year now.
Okay. Are you still there, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you've been with your son for a year. My guess is there is going to be an end date at some point to this, and you guys might want to start talking about this. But the key is, you've got to start getting your savings. Do you have 3 to 6 months of savings? And then if so, are you investing any money? Because where I'm hung up here, Val, is you don't have any debt. You have an income, but yet and still you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So part of my question is, where is all of this money going towards every single month? At this point in the game, if you have no debt, the next step would be to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. And after that, you got to start investing some money. You got to start getting some money set aside for the future, because you're right, $1,000 is not going to cut it.
And I can't help you with the work in Edmonton. Hang on the line. We're going to send you Ken Coleman's book, Proximity Principle. It will help you get some ideas on how you can find some work there. It is there, but it can be tough to find.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
You are listening to The Ramsey Show, and thank you for listening. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by John Deloney. Give us a call, and you can be live on air, airing all of your grievances and money dirty laundry. I'm just kidding, but do give us a call. We'd be happy to talk through anything with you. The number is 888-825-5225 if you want to call in. John, this is one of my favorite parts sometimes about this show is these articles that come through. Sometimes it's articles that we ourselves found and thought were kind of interesting, or sometimes it's just something that's on the desk. They're like, guys, you need to look at this. This one came through. It says, why a spending plan is better than a budget. Can you give us some light on this? What are we talking about here?
Yes. Golly, dude. All right. Here's my thoughts on this.
Okay.
Listen, here's it. Why a spending plan is better than a budget, says a financial psychologist. Here's what the financial psychologist says, which, by the way, not a thing, but we'll go from there. Financial psychology is about the humanness of money, how people think, feel, behave about their money, and their relationships with money in the past, present, and future.
Wait, are you saying this is not a real field?
I can tell you I've been in and around the field of mental health my entire life, and I've never heard the phrase financial psychology or a financial psychologist.
Okay.
But I do, like Dave has said for years, that money is 80% psychology and 20% knowledge, right?
Sure.
It's 80% behavior. You got to know what you're thinking and doing. So who you are contributes to what your money is doing and where your money's going. Certain forms of social conditioning. It's so stupid. Certain forms of social conditioning, such as budgeting, also come into play. Let me make a very clear statement. Budgeting is not social conditioning.
Go off, John.
It's not. Psychologically, budgets sound restrictive. Here's what's happened. Over the last 40 or 50 years, there's been a clever contest in my field, my mental health field, of people. You don't just have anxiety, you have high-functioning anxiety. That's not a thing. Not a thing. It's not any DSM. It's not. It doesn't exist.
Oh, so you're saying folks are making up things.
They are making things. Here's why. To give somebody a label for why they feel the way they do. Mm-hmm. Like diagnostic. I've got to provide a label for every feeling that exists in the world. I got to label you. And I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. And so psychologically, budget sounds restrictive is what the article says. A spending plan sounds a lot better, and they give more freedom and flexibility. They actually don't. So here's the catch here. Math still applies whether you have a spending plan or a budget. How much money do you make? How much money do you have versus how much do you spend? And you can play all kinds of semantic gymnastics. A budget is about what you spent. A spending plan is about what you're about to spend. What are you doing to the hurting person sitting in front of you as you're playing these Dungeons and Dragons games with them with your vocabulary and they're hurting? What they need to be told is this. You can take control of your money, and here's how much you make, and here's how much you spend. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What's the life you want to lead? And how can we get there? I will promise you the most shameful thing I've experienced since leaving higher ed and coming to work here is how my lofty language and my theoretical propositions and the way I communicated was wholly unhelpful to a single mom with 3 kids just trying to figure out what can I do next. Mm-hmm. To a truck driver who's got 2 boys and he just wants to be a little bit better dad, and his dad left him and he doesn't know what to do. And I'm here saying, well, have you thought about the correct attachment disorder? Bro, how can I help my kid? Right? And so the reason it sets me off is a budget should be restrictive, and a budget frees up everything. And when you the way Dave uses budgets, the way Ramsey Solutions uses budgets, is we are always talking about a plan into the future.
Yeah.
And so saying that's not that, you can't just play. Well, I guess our whole culture does that now. You can't just say, well, that doesn't mean that anymore. It means this now. And I'm going to co-opt this word, and I'm going to create a whole new branch of psychology called financial psychology. Here's what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to stop with the gymnastics and help hurting people.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting down and someone says, hey, I've tried to be on a budget. My dad beat me up with a budget. You say, okay, cool. We're not going to call it a budget. We'll call it a spending plan. I'm actually okay with that. That's fine.
That's fine.
It's semantics. But to say they're two different things and this doesn't work and this is social conditioning, it's not. It's math. It's math. It's math.
I agree, John. I'm here for the pop-off.
I'm heartbroken, man, because there's hurting people and people who have gone to college for a long, long time in order to help other people have gotten so sophisticated and so excited about their new words and the way they explain things and so reluctant to have people feel uncomfortable in front of them that we're not helping anybody anymore.
That's so good.
We're not helping anybody. Here's the truth. And I'm backing out of this financial psychology, whatever. More people right now than ever before in human history are under the care of a mental health professional. More people, a licensed mental health professional. More people than ever before are taking medication for psychological issues right now.
Yep.
And the trend line is a rocket ship directly up to the moon and beyond. Mm-hmm. And so as a mental health guy, this is my world. These are my friends. These are my community. These are who I talk to on a regular basis. This is my academic training. I have to be willing to step back and say what we're doing is not working. Throwing this at these problems, coming up with new things that make people feel, I didn't want to feel restrictive, or telling somebody, you've been socially conditioned to budget. You need to have a spending plan. We are teaching people to avoid reality. And an avoidance of reality at its core makes people insane.
Wow.
That's the definition. It's a lack of connectivity to reality. So I'm done talking about it. If it makes you feel better to say spending plan, knock your lights out. If it makes you feel better to say budget, at this company at Ramsey Solutions, it means we use these interchangeably. This is a budget is how much money do you make? How much money have you spent? And who do you want to become in the future? What's the world you want to build? That's how we've used budget for 30 years and beyond.
That's right.
And to my friends who are in the mental health profession, stop. All of our sophisticated mumbo jumbo, all of our creating diagnostics just so we can get an article on some blog somewhere, we're taking people further and further and further away from reality. And sometimes reality is uncomfortable. Sometimes reality hurts. Sometimes reality is you got to see that you're not safe. And coming up with these nonsensical, it's not helping. Look around, everybody. It's not working. It's not working.
Man.
That's all I got to say about that. Sorry.
I would, if it was socially acceptable, John, in this moment, I would stand up and give you a standing ovation. But
I'm just tired of hurting people, man.
It's so true. And yeah, I think it's just creating more and more confusion around a topic where there's already confusion. I can't tell you how many calls and DMs and emails that come through with, I'm just struggling I just want to make a plan for my money. Any plan for my money. And this just clouds all of it and makes it even more complicated. So guys, it's simple. Get on a plan for your money. That's all a budget is. I don't care what you call it. It's deciding ahead of the month, before the month begins, how you're going to spend the money. It's your hard income. You're deciding how you're going to spend it. And some of that decision is going to go to needs and things that must get done and responsible tasks. And some of that money is going to go to fun stuff and the things that you want to do. That's all it is. And we've got a great budget here. It's called Every Dollar. If you're interested in that, it's the best budgeting tool out there. It's helped so many people. It's the tool that Sam and I use to help pay off our debt, and it can help you too. So if you're interested in that, you can go to their site and actually use promo code JADE, and you'll get some money off there, $15 off. So that's the solution. Budget is the word. That's the buzzword, and that's what we're going to call it here on The Ramsey Show. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. Give us a call. We'll talk about your life, your money. The number's 888-825-5225. And without further ado, we've got Jonathan in Charleston, South Carolina. Come on and raise up. What's up?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I got a quick question for you. So I'm a musician. My only debt is my house and my truck.
Uh-huh.
I got some money saved up, and I love my job. I'm rich in spirit, but it doesn't really pay like I would like it to. So I'm starting to think if I could get some sort of passive income. I have friends that do the Airbnb thing. I know y'all are all about that all the time. but they're suggesting I do that. They're fellow musicians, and I'm just trying to think of a way to make my money grow. I have a good chunk saved up for me, what I think is a good chunk, and I'm just trying to make it so I can make a little bit more and maybe not have to play 30 gigs a week.
Well, you're a musician.
Really,
don't you want to play the gigs? I mean, you want to do the work, right? On the musician side, it'd be one thing if you're like, hey, I don't want to wait tables as much. I want to do more music. But if you've got 30 gigs a week, that's excellent.
Well, it's more, I say 30. I teach drum lessons, and I probably play like 5-6 gigs a week, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't want to play much more than that just because it is a lot of work. You got to think of time going into preparation.
Boo, I know. I got
out.
you. I used to be a musician myself. So I understand you on that tip. What I'm curious about is you said you've got a good amount of money saved, and you said you've got your house and your truck. Can we talk about that for a moment?
Of course.
Okay. So I like the idea that you're wanting to get more money coming in. Passive, I will say, is kind of a buzzword right now, and it's not real. So we'll talk about that. Airbnb, I like the idea of you getting more income in because I just love when people make good money, but I don't think that Airbnb is your route. So let's talk about what you've got going on. So you've got the truck. How much do you owe on that truck?
About $9,000.
Okay. And then
the buyout is $9,000. I have it for 0 interest.
And you got so it's a lease.
No, I bought it, and basically it's a long story. I don't know if you want to get into it, but the dealership messed up, and they decided to make it right. So they sold me a new version of the truck I wanted with 0 interest.
Okay, and so it takes you $9,000, and you own it free and clear.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then you said you had some money saved up somewhere. How much do you have saved?
I got about $80,000 saved up.
Whoa, mama, that's great. So this $80,000, that's cash money, right?
Cash money.
Okay, so what's keeping us from paying off this truck today? And please don't tell me because it's 0 interest.
Yeah, because 0 interest. Why would I pay it? I know that. I know you can say kind of.
Because you're a musician, and at any moment COVID comes back, and you have no gigs, and you can't play. And all my buddies who are touring musicians, they couldn't breathe. And you have $80,000 just sitting there, and you're not paying this thing off.
Were you not a musician during COVID, Jonathan? Because I don't know about you, but I was crying my eyes out every night. And I was in good financial position.
All right, bring it. He's going to
dark time, but
he's going to convince us.
Okay, no, I'm not going to convince you.
Don't try it. Don't try it.
Before the day is over, this truck is paid off.
Go ahead. You're gonna have
plenty left. You didn't win anything, and the car dealership is not your friend. They didn't hook you up. They screwed up, and they made it right. Good on them. But they're not your friend. This isn't like a great situation for you. It's better than just going to take a 15% loan.
If I pay it off monthly or pay it off now, either way, it's $9,000.
Because tomorrow you sleep.
And tomorrow, when you're going to Costco and you're lifting your 40-pound jar of peanut butter in the back of your truck, you accidentally slam your finger, and all of a sudden you can't play guitar or play piano or whatever it is that you play, and you're like, crap, I can't do my gigs anymore. That's why.
Or you just say, hey, I'm only going to go down to 4 gigs a week because I'm tired, and that $500 I was going to make on that one, that's my truck payment.
Yeah.
I'm not paying it no more.
Or you're a singer, and for some unknown reason, you lose your voice, and you got to cancel your gig. Like, as a musician, bud, I'm telling you, man, this thing is precarious. Anything can happen at any moment. And now more than ever is when you need that security, no payments. All right? That's what you need. No, I mean, it's not like you have a lot of debt sitting here, Jonathan. I mean, it's $9,000 that we're talking about. We can clear it.
You got $80,000 in the bank, man.
But I'm
just thinking, okay, it's sitting in high-yielding savings.
Jonathan. Look.
Okay.
Look. You can do what you want to do. You can do what you want to do. If you're asking me, which I think that you did call into the show, I think, bud, that you really need to just go on ahead. Look, you're still going to have $71,000 left.
Let me do it this way. If you and 3 buddies go in and all get a Airbnb. Right? You all pitch in, you all take a huge loan out, and y'all all pitch in, and this thing makes a couple of $1,000 a week, and you put $1,000 into it, and you all take some a cash draw out. How much is your truck payment a month?
It's about $300.
There's your draw. So you're looking for passive income, a way to make $300 or $400 more, and then over time they're going to pay for our equity. Never works out that way. That's not true. It does occasionally, but on the average, it does not.
You'd be doing better to take that truck payment.
You take
and
truck
invest
payment,
it.
man. Put that truck payment in a high yield savings account. That's your passive income right there, brother. With no risk. No risk. Not one of your buddies going off and being like, hey, I quit, by the way. I'm not doing this anymore. Or another buddy being like, hey, my mom wants to move into the house.
He doesn't even have to put it in a high yield savings. He can invest it. He'll have after he pays off this debt, he'll have his 3 to 6 months. He can start investing into a Roth IRA. You can start investing that money and actually making some bank on that over time.
Your friends look at you like a savings account because you have $80,000 in cash.
No, none of my. Hey, I'm a musician, but I'm not dumb. I'm not telling other musicians I got 80 grand sitting around.
There you go. Hey, so how much do you have left on your house?
$150.
Oh my gosh,
dude, let's go.
Listen, bro,
let's go.
You are 24 months to owing nobody anything. If you took,
I don't make. I mean, I make 35 to 40 a year, and this is my first year making that much since COVID.
Look. What John is pointing to is the idea that if you walk down these steps, you're paying off this truck today. That leaves you with $71,000, which is more than what we would say to have saved up in cash, right? We say 3 to 6 months of expenses. So technically, you could, at whatever the cutoff point, maybe it's $25,000, maybe it's $30,000, that you cut this off and you take the other $35,000 that's left. You could technically put it towards your house if you're not on baby step. You don't have any kids. You don't have to save for college. Do you see what he's saying? We want you to invest 15% of your income. And once you pay off the car, you're going to have plenty left. You're getting $300 back every month. And then from there, you can start paying off your house is what he's saying.
And then in 24 months, if you work bananas and you run the gigs and you drive in the morning and you deliver lunch, and is it going to suck? Yes, it is. In 24 months, bro, you have no house payment.
Then you can do what you want to do.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, and here's the thing. What every one of the internet bros, the Instagram bros are trying to do is trying to get you to focus on, bro, if you get no percent down, then you get 6% over here. You're making the 6%. And you can put that and don't have avocado toast and you'll be a billionaire. Here's what we're trying to do is give you your life back.
Yeah.
Have peace, man, where you can sleep at night and you don't have to take gigs with crappy bands because you have to have that money.
Mm-hmm. Make me a prawn.
That hit me.
You don't have to play the wedding. You can play the cool punk band gigs like you should be doing because they're great music, man. You don't have to play because I don't owe anybody anything. And then here's the crazy part about not owing anybody anything. You start playing music that you really want to play and that you're really good at, and then all of a sudden something hits because your whole heart is in it. You're not just doing it to get to the next thing and get to the next thing and get to the next thing.
That's right.
That's just what happens with art, man. I don't know how or why. It's just how it works, man.
This is the Ramsey Show.
Dude.
You are listening to The Ramsey Show, a show about life and money and mental health and financing, not financing, but getting your finances in order and getting the right career and getting on budget and getting on track. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. Scripture and quote of the day. Man, I love this one. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. That's what I'm talking about. Philippians 4:13. Can never go wrong with that one. Or y'all Y'all are getting me with these quotes. Why do I have to get the Harriet Tubman one? It says, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world. Love it. So good.
What's the matter with you guys?
I don't know what's wrong with such just an inspirational quote. It has nothing to do with the person. I just found something that sounded great.
Whatever. I hope you sleep tonight, Allison.
Y'all give me a good laugh with that one. I got to go to the phone lines after that. John, help me out here.
Hey, we're going to go to David in Washington. What's up, David?
Hi, good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
We're getting there. The show producer is struggling, but we're doing all right.
How are you doing?
I hear that. Good. I appreciate you guys taking my call today.
So You're welcome. How can we help?
My fiance, my fiance and I are going to be getting married in early October of this year.
Cool.
And basically, my question is, I bought a house in right before COVID. I actually got lucky. It was February 20th, 2020.
Ooh,
So,
well done, man.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right before kind of the world turns upside down. But luckily, the markets were kind of getting spooked in China, and so I was able to lock in on kind of a low interest rate. It's an end unit townhouse, my first house. And I guess my question is, advice should, I'm thinking about potentially selling. But obviously, if I sell, so I can pay off my other debt, I have a car loan of about $14,500 and a small personal loan, just that we took out to kind of cover some expenses for the wedding. I do have a little bit of savings, but not the personal loan. It's $6,000. Our parents, luckily, are helping out with a good deal of it, which is nice. But, I would say all in all, total debt, other than the mortgage, of course, would be right around $25,000 for everything. But,
how much are you paying?
Savings I can knock out.
What's your portion of the wedding that you're paying for?
We're covering about $5,500.
$5,500, and you feel like you've got that covered, or are you still needing a plan for that as well?
Yeah, no, it's already paid for. Yeah, that's all paid for.
Oh, okay.
Everything's already arranged. We talked about delaying our honeymoon until later when I get my bonus in March. So that's no big deal there.
Something brought this up, David. Something brought this up. Did she tell you she didn't want to live here? Or are you starting to feel nervous about owing $25,000 and getting married?
Oh, sorry.
Something brought this up. Did she tell you she doesn't really want to live in this house?
No. She definitely. We're going to live here. She has combined income here. All right, yeah, you're good. I'll get to it here. So the deal is, her mother, a first-generation immigrant, migrated here from El Salvador, and her mom and her sister are currently renting an apartment, but they're having a hard time. So if I were to potentially sell, the idea would be to pay off any debt I have, and then potentially. I'm looking in the area I'm in, the market's it's kind of expensive, but if I were to upgrade a little bit, we would have basically three incomes, to contribute to the mortgage, which I think.
So you're saying to get a home to house you, mom, and sister? Am I understanding that right?
Correct. Just temporarily until her sister, is getting situated right now. So she might, move out, but just for temporarily to help her save as well. Correct.
I would strongly recommend, I'm all about helping out family. If you got to help out family, you got to help out family. I would not buy a house based on three incomes. The most I would go is say, okay, what's our combined take-home income between me and my about-to-be wife? And that's got to be the basis, because mom might get sick, mom might get hurt. You're starting to add so many variables, and in that market, DC is expensive, man.
Correct. Correct.
I do love your heart that you want to help out your wife's family. Totally get that. Sounds like you have a gold mine there with the place you live in right now. Is that fair? And I say gold mine, it sounds like you bought the house for probably half of what it would sell for right now.
Mm-hmm. And probably locked in a decent interest rate?
Yeah, it's I bought it for $220, including all the closing costs back in 2020, and now it's going for I just got it appraised just for the heck of it for $325.
What's the interest rate?
3.5.
Dude,
on a 30-year fix.
It'd be tough for me to walk away on that.
Can I be the bad guy in for just a moment too?
Yeah.
Man, it gave me a pit in my stomach a little bit when I thought about you starting off your brand spanking new marriage in a house that you bought for your mother-in-law and sister-in-law with you all in the same house. That just feels like a recipe for, man, it's just heavy to me. I'm like, that's a lot of influence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
advice on it. I mean,
it's just hard to establish whose home this is.
Yeah, and who you're going to be in your marriage.
Your values.
Even.
That's right. Yeah.
The first year of marriage is so different. I mean, it's different for everybody, but it's full of challenges, good and bad, and you're just trying to figure out who you're going to be, and to have that many voices under one roof. Not to say that they're just going to be speaking into your marriage all the time, but it's just you're in the same household. So I gotta be honest, I don't like that idea. I think that there might be a better way that you could help them out. But I also want to say your first responsibilities to your wife and to setting up that situation and that foundation correctly, and then you can start looking outward. And I feel like you've got a great heart and you're trying to look outward right now, but it's like, wait, first things first. And so that would be my take on it. I'm thinking about my own situation. I'm like, if Sam Warshaw came and was like, hey, we're getting married. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to sell my house so that your sister and your mom can move. I would be like, is there something else that we can do? Is there a better way?
Is your wife interested in helping them out, or are you just trying to be super husband?
No, she's well, that's the thing. So she's helping her now. So she's helping her pay her rent now.
Okay.
So we're income paying her now. It's a close thing. Like when you marry Latina, you're basically marrying her mother too. It's just kind of how it is.
There's some definite cultural things. Absolutely. Hey, you're cutting out real bad on us, brother.
What I think, while you're cutting out and while you're finding service, here's the plan I want to give you. I want you to not sell the house. I think that the debt that you have, I think that you can sweep that up with the income that you have coming in. I don't want your fiance contributing to that at all right now. Right now, it's your debt. You're not married yet. So start contributing to that. Start knocking that out as quickly as possible. Then when you guys get married, you can come in together and start knocking this out. It's $25,000. It's going to be gone lickety-split. I didn't ask you your income yet, but it doesn't matter. $25,000, you guys are going to clean that up in 2 seconds, right? So that's thing one. Of course, I want you to have $1,000 set aside before you start tackling that debt. But then once that debt is dead and gone, you're going to have income freed up. And from there, you guys can decide, okay, obviously we've got to get, some savings put aside, but you're probably going to have some other discretionary money there that it's like, if they need help, I'm not really sure. When you said first generation, does that mean they just got here? Does that mean they've been here for several years? Like, only you know that situation. And you guys are going to have to decide, okay, what makes sense in our budget? What's a way that we can help them by not also being a detriment to ourselves? Does that make sense? I
like the idea of staying in that house at least 6 months, and let's get our feet underneath us, and then we can start saying, okay, what do we want this thing to look like? What kind of help do we need? Yeah, I'm with you, man. There's something about that separation. You got to have some space to figure out
at least the first 6 months.
Who's at least, preferably a year, but
man. All right, guys, that does it for this show. Thanks for listening. And remember, when it comes to your life and money, y'all can tell me that you won't do it, but never tell me that you can't do it. We learned before, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. Look, if you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.